Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Solar Life Podcast. I'm so excited that you're here with me tonight. And we have a super special guest. His name is Robert Dennis. He is a real estate investor. He is a dad. He's an entrepreneur, just a mogul. Thanks so much for being here tonight. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Definitely thanks for coming on. As always, I do have people that tell me no when I ask them to come on the podcast. So I
But
appreciate
you
your
asked so nicely.
willingness.
Why did they say no?
Exactly. But we're going to give some people some time to get on, give you guys some time to share it. Make sure you like and comment, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the So Lux Life podcast, where our goal is to enhance the mental, physical, and spiritual luxuries in life. Make your life luxurious through knowledge, coaching, training, and technique. Visit us online at souluxlife.com. Here's your host, Crispin J. Watson.
Hi, you guys. Okay, so we're back. I hope you enjoyed our introduction video there. And, if you're unable to tune in the whole podcast, and which we hope you are because we want to answer all of your questions and share all of Robert's knowledge with you. But if you aren't, just remember you can stream the podcast on your favorite podcast streaming network. It'll be live tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow, because I do get tired. I am a mama and I'm busy. But first thing first, I'm going to let Robert introduce himself. So just tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, of course, my name is Robert Dennis. I'm a 3-year entrepreneur. Before that, I was a fire lieutenant with the fire department here in Birmingham. I left January 2019 to pursue my dream in real estate. And it's been a roller coaster ride ever since, to say the least.
To kind of paint a picture for us, like what was life like for you growing up? Like, what's a childhood memory? Like, what's one of your favorite childhood memories?
I would say, let's see. I mean, there's so many. I would say sports, just being outside. A lot of kids don't be outside nowadays,
Oh, tell me about it.
It's crazy. And even, at the dinner table and family gatherings and things like that, I would say those definitely my most fun childhood memories.
Yeah, I think that definitely sets a foundation, like your childhood and how like you're brought up, your upbringing, kind of molds you kind of into the adult that you are today. I feel like
Right.
in my aspect, because you can kind of tell when kids kind of have a different upbringing, where they don't really have like a good childhood. It kind of reflects in their adult life. So
Yeah. Not to judge, but I know what you mean.
yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah, it definitely is. So fatherhood, kind of tell us about that. I mean, it's so many it's so many people out here with kids, but I think like people that don't have kids just don't really know the challenge of actually
Oh, yeah.
being a parent and what goes into raising a kid. So kind of what's your experience being a father?
Oh, my experience has been like if you didn't have a plan before, once you raise a child, you definitely have to have a plan then. Even planning the next day, it's like, okay, what are they gonna wear? Where are they gonna eat? Have to plan my day. Okay, have to shut everything down at this time, so I'll be back, pick up from this, take it there.
Right.
We'll be tonight, things like that. But it was definitely a challenge, a life adjustment. But I could not do it without my support system. My mom, my sister, my nephew, my dad. I mean, they've been with me since day one, and I just know I could not do it without them.
Yeah, shout out to the support systems.
Yeah.
Because even though mine's kind of far away, I still do have them for when I need them. They're like willing to help me out at the drop of a dime. They'll even like keep my kids for weeks at a time sometimes when they
Right.
can. So it helps to have a support system. So if you have a support system, thank them. Um, so aside from that, what sports did you play? You mentioned that you played sports.
I played basketball. I played football when I got a little bit older, like middle school. Played
Mm-hmm.
baseball pretty much up until high school because once I got to high school and was old enough to get a job, with my way of thinking, where I can either keep playing sports and be broke, or I can get me a job, have some money in my pocket. So when I was old enough to get a job, I went that route. Even though I had a lot of
Right.
time, it just hard work, education was preaching in my house. So I went the hard work route instead of just continue to play sports.
Oh, I know what you mean because in college, and I remember like some of my friends, I got a job. I didn't have to get a job. Like my
Yeah,
parents had made me get a job. I was good, but I just wanted to get one because, like you, I like to have money. I like to buy things.
right.
That was that. Right, my business, right? But I would have friends that would be like, you don't even need a job. Your parents help you out with this and that. Why do you even work? I was like, trust me, it's
I needed one.
beyond me.
My parents cut the they cut the money out early,
A
so I
toy.
needed it.
Yeah. But I think it teaches that independence though. Your parents, even though they can
Well,
still help
definitely.
you, sometimes they do have to cut you off at a point so you won't be so dependent on them, you know,
Right.
in the future. So kind of tell us about your career being a firefighter, being the chief of firefighting.
Well, Lieutenant, I can't
Oh, lieutenant,
I
I'm
can't
sorry. Let
claim
me put some
that's a high
respect
title.
on
I
it.
can't claim that I was a lieutenant when I left.
Lieutenant,
So
okay.
I got into it because I had a few friends and family members. They told me about the business, and it was a career path that I could choose without having a college
Mhm.
degree. I could
Right.
work in that field, and if I wanted to finish my degree, I can just go to school part time. That played a key factor in me choosing that career. And I mean, the pay was good at the time, and it was something like I said. I got into it. I went, one semester at UAB for EMT basic license, and I kept going, got my EMT paramedic license, all while working in the
Hmm.
fire department. And they offered tuition reimbursement, so actually I didn't have to pay for it. Fire department paid
Oh,
for it,
nice. Yeah.
and fast forward from there, during that 12 years, I learned a lot, met a lot of amazing people, and, been a lot of crazy situations. I helped, countless people.
Hmm.
And I would say the schedule was great too, because we work one day, have 2 days off. And that's what kind of gave me time to research real estate, learn more about it. And that's how it initially started with the whole real estate bug. It bit me and it didn't turn loose. So you want to go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so what exactly was it? Like, were you watching something one day and saw someone say, like, hey, I invested in real estate? Did you come across something on the internet? Like, what exactly was it that kind of got you on like the real estate bug, as you
Well,
call it?
my, it's like you always hear about it, hear people talk about it. Oh, it'd be a wealth of real estate, but I just felt like, well, I can't do that. That's something rich people do. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I would say this was maybe back in 2010. I just got married. I'm divorced now. And the house I was living in, we rented that house out and bought another one. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. Somebody else is paying my mortgage. I'm putting a little money in my
Hmm.
pocket. I got another house. So, maybe that's how this real estate thing, works.
Yeah.
So, so then, that's what really got me interested. I started doing more research, reading books. I don't think podcasts were really popular back then, but just
Mm-mm.
searching on the internet, I found, a real estate investment club here in Birmingham and networked with other
Hmm.
people and just kept growing from there.
Yeah. So, were there any specific books that really helped you kind of pave your way into getting started? Or did you do more like internet research? Kind of what was it that actually taught you your systems that you have in place now?
Back then, it was more so internet and the in-person networking. Like I've been here. My first conference was in Kansas City, Missouri. Met people there, so I was just kind of all over the place. But fast forward from there, I would say within the last 4 or 5 years, I read a lot of books, but some of them were based on business and real estate. But the game changer for me was when I started really reading books about, changing your mindset. What's up here? Because I mean, that just shifts your entire way of thinking. It's like you
can do anything once you get your mind
right.
in the right
You
place.
get your mind right, and you can do anything. So I would promote more books like that really changes your mindset, because you have to, first of all, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And what else can I say about that? It's just you have to think with the end goal in mind. Like, okay, what type of investor do I want to be? What type of daily habits do I need to create to get to that point? Let me shadow other people. What do they do to get to that point? So I would say the book's more about changing mindset. But of course, I've read real estate books. I mean, if I would have to go in my library and really bring it out to, but I think one that sticks out the most, the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, that sticks out. Things like that. And different books from other entrepreneurs, like the CEO of Nike. His book Shoe Dog. I can't think of his name right now, but CEO of Nike. His book Shoe Dog. I think every entrepreneur should read that book.
Yeah, I'll put it on my
Phil Knight. Phil Knight, that's his name.
Yeah, so spoke about like the mindset and different routines, and yes, someone in the comments said mindset matters. It definitely does, James. Because if you change your mind, you can change your whole life. If you take control of like your emotions and the way you look at things and the way you analyze situations and the way you respond to when things don't go the way that you feel that they should go, I think you really begin to take over your life and be able to shift your mind to that accomplished mindset where I can do anything.
Exactly.
Yes, kilo facts. And you said, you mentioned like you started different daily routines. So kind of what was your daily routine, or what is your daily routine now?
Well, it's pretty basic. It's funny because it's nothing extravagant. It's just keeping a routine. It's like, I wake up, make my bed up. That way you really won't get back in it. I won't lie, sometimes I do hit the snooze button. And even the way I put, like, okay, now it's like I wear a uniform every day, with my business logo and things like that. I wear this every day. So you don't waste a lot of brain time figuring out, okay, what am I going to wear today? Because
maybe I need to do that. I need to get the uniform.
So that brain energy can be, shifted elsewhere to make you more efficient in what you're doing inside your business. Right.
But I feel like, with me, I feel like I am my brand and my business. So I have to look a certain way. Like when I'm out, some days I do wear like real estate t-shirts, like Chris Martin Realtor, this and that. But, I was actually just thinking earlier today that I need to get some more like t-shirts so I can actually wear something that states that I'm a realtor and actually really brand myself when I'm out meeting new people physically.
Right.
So yeah, good point. Good tip. I hope you guys are taking notes on this, because Robert is dropping gems for free. Because sometimes people make you pay for education, like, like Grant Cardone, like people make you pay for information for sure.
Which I've done that, and I will continue to do that, just because, like, okay, let's be honest. The real estate business is not cheap. I mean, finding deals costs money. Everything you do costs money. And I feel like people who charge for their knowledge, it's not like they just want to take your money. It's just you can choose to pay and shorten your learning curve, or you can just learn everything from the school of hard knocks. I mean, it'll be a cheaper way, but the longer way. That's how I feel about that. Now, don't go crazy and just spend all your money on books, courses, and mentorships and things like that, because you won't have any money to invest. So I would like, pay attention to your budget, pick and choose, who you want to follow, who you want to learn from, and a lot of time, books and courses. I mean, that's great, but the biggest teacher is just getting out here and and it in the mud, doing deals and meeting people, networking.
Yeah, getting your hands dirty. Do you believe in like mentorships? Did you have a mentor when you were getting into real estate?
Not initially. I was just kind of winging it because like just getting in the game, okay, you may not have a lot of cash, but you have a lot of time. So I spent a lot of my time doing things that other people wasn't willing to do. Like I got in my car, they call it driving for dollars. I see a vacant property, look it up, try to find the owner. And that's a funny story because my very first deal, this is where my Instagram name comes from, REI All Star. All right. There was a vacant house right across the street from my parents' house. It was vacant ever since I was like a young child, maybe like 10, 11 years old. So, I used the tools I learned from a seminar, how to find the owner. I went through the county records, found the owner, typed up a nice little yellow letter, sent it out to him. Come to find out, it was owned by an NFL player, Willie McGinnis. I don't know if you follow a lot of football, but Willie McGinnis, he, big time Super Bowl champ. Anyway, that was his uncle's house. He left it to him. So I was like, wow,
nice.
my first deal is with an NFL star. So that's why All Star come from. Real estate.
Okay, All Star. I love it. That's so neat. That's like a fun story. So when you wrote him, he responded to the letter like the first attempt, or did it take you a couple attempts to actually get in contact with him and get a response?
It was the first attempt. He sent me a text saying, hey, he ready to sell. Now that's like unheard of. That was the only time that ever happened. So I was like, hey, real estate event's easy. Watch $1 million next week. What's up? So
right. Wow.
Yeah.
So pretty much, so kind of take us through the process. Like, and I know you might not want to tell all your secrets and all of that, but just like with direct mail. So, he just contacted you and said he was ready to purchase, and you guys just went negotiated a price, and it was just a go from there. So he was just really just ready to get the money from the home.
Right. He was living in California. The house was here in Birmingham. So he had been sitting on it for years. So he was just ready. It's all about catching the person at the right time. Maybe if I would have contacted him a year ago, he would say, nah, no way. But it's also about, just contacting people at the right time.
So what did you end up doing with that property?
That was a wholesale deal. A guy, I wouldn't call him really a mentor. He was more like a business partner. He was okay. He knew more than me, but he, he was a little shady, but it is what it is. That was a wholesale deal. We wholesaled it to a hedge fund company. So
nice. So for people that may be listening who aren't really familiar with different aspects of real estate investing, can you kind of tell us what wholesaling is, or just like the different types of real estate investing there are?
Yeah. A wholesale deal is where you deal directly with the seller. You negotiate a price, you get on the contract, and then you assign that contract to another investor for another price. And your profit is what's in the middle. Like, for example, if you have a contracted price at $100,000, and then you assign that contract to another investor for $110,000, then you just made $10,000. Zero money out your pocket. All it takes is time.
All it takes is time.
That's right.
And I believe like people, especially like our community, a lot of people don't know about wholesaling and investing and things like that, but that's where like research comes in, or connecting and networking with someone such as yourself so they can help you kind of get into real estate investing and things like that. And you mentioned you will continue to invest in education. So how often do you invest in education when it comes to building your business?
I would say, of course, the local meetups, That's a form of education. That's monthly.
Mhm.
I try to go to at least 2 conferences per year. And last year I was involved with a mastermind, and we met once per quarter. So I would
Mhm.
say bare minimum twice per year, and I was 2 to 4 times per year, just to not only network with people local in Birmingham, but also just to get an idea of what's going on a national scale, what other investors are doing in other cities and things like that.
Yes, so with you wholesaling, you can wholesale from anywhere, can't you, in the United States? You don't just have to wholesale here.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, if you have a laptop, you can invest anywhere in the United States.
Because I know some people feel
Yeah,
like they have to be there, like in the actual state, but like, no, if you're able to get this particular house under contract in Wyoming, hey, you got
right,
yourself a deal if you find someone that's, willing to purchase it.
right.
So,
Of course, I mean,
what
there's
what would
other
you?
steps to that, but I mean, simplified, that's very well possible. I know investors in Phoenix that invest here in Birmingham, you know.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, it's all over. That's an old way of thinking. Like for a wholesale business, it's easier to invest virtually. But if you want rentals and doing flips and things like that, I would suggest you start in your own backyard to get more experience, and then branch out to other cities. Because let's see,
Yeah.
I've been investing 3 years now, and it wasn't until last year to where I bought outside of Birmingham, which I bought in Montgomery. So, and that's not, it was still, I could still drive there and back in one day
Yeah.
and be fine. I, and then it was a Montgomery deal and a Douglasville, Georgia deal that I did last year. So I'm
Oh,
starting
nice.
to
So
kind of
these
branch out.
deals were these flips, or what type of deals are we talking?
The Montgomery deal was a flip, and Douglasville was a wholesale.
Nice. So kind of tell us about your first flip. How was that experience? Your very first
Oof.
one.
Oh man. Now it's funny because when when you say, okay, I flip houses and things like that, people automatically assume, oh, you're rich, you do this, and that. My first deal, I was still with the fire department. Uh, I had saved some cash, and the guy I told you about, we went in
The
business together. He
shady
had more
business
experience, and
partner.
I had more cash. So it's like, okay, well, I'll manage the deal, you put up the cash. So did that. Of course, it costed more than expected. It went longer than expected. He wasn't paying people. We won't call any names because in the investor where everybody knows everybody. But it,
Right.
I mean, it was. But even with that, I wouldn't say it was just a terrible experience because I did
Hmm.
learn a lot.
Yeah.
And it took 1 year to sell that property, and I think I
A
netted
year?
1 year. I think I netted $400.
You are lying.
$400. However, the education was priceless because it gave me the experience and the confidence to go to another deal and another deal, another deal. So you just take all the losses, the wins, the
Hmm.
experience, the education. You just take it all along with you because
At least you made a profit. I mean, 400
right
is better than losing 4,000. So,
now, I mean, I've lost money on deals as well, and that just comes to show you that how dedicated I am to being successful in this business because a lot of people after only making $400 on one deal and losing on the next deal, they'd be like, oh, it doesn't work. I'm just gonna do this, and
hmm.
that. But it actually made me want to try even harder because I
Yeah.
had a love for it. I had a passion, and I was like, I guess it's the ego thing too. It's like, okay, well, I lost, so I gotta make it up. I can't
Gotta bounce
I
back.
can't
Like,
end on a loss. I just can't do that.
yeah. That goes back to that mindset. Because if you had a mindset where you were like, you're gonna let this defeat you, you would have never went back and tried again. Like, okay, I'm gonna go back and be a
Right,
lieutenant again, or what have you.
right. And
So,
just a word of advice for people that's listening, like don't don't share your wins or losses with people who's not doing the same thing as you
mhm.
because it will throw you off your path very quickly. A lot of
Yeah.
naysayers, I mean, they will. I mean, it's like poison. They don't mean harm. They just, they
will
don't
kill
mean
your
harm.
dream with
They will kill your dream because,
Yes.
they kind of look at themselves like when you have a goal and they feel like they can't reach that goal, they feel like you can't.
Then nobody can, right?
Right. And that's not the case. That's why I suggest, always share your goals, your wins, your losses with like-minded people. Like if you get in trouble or something bad happens or whatever, in the real estate business, you need to talk to other real estate investors. Don't talk to your cousin, your mom, your dad, because
They'd be like, see
They
why you
can't.
shouldn't have been wasting your money, right?
Exactly. So don't even go down that road. Just stay focused, put your blinders on. Only talk with like-minded people because they can steer you in a better direction than the naysayers.
Great.
Like I said, they don't mean harm. They just people don't know what they don't know.
They don't. They don't understand what they haven't experienced.
Right.
So that's kind of like the older generation. Like if you go to them and talk about entrepreneurship, they're like, "You're gonna quit your job." Like,
oh boy, yes.
See, how was the experience? Did you have? How was quitting your job? Like what was it that made you wake up one day and like, okay, I'm setting a plan. Like I'm done. Just kind of what was it?
I would say I knew I wanted to quit 2 years before I actually had the guts to quit. And it's not like I hated my job. That's another reason why it was hard to leave because, the fire department job is one of the best jobs in the world. You help people on the regular, you save lives,
Save lives, your heroes.
The camaraderie, all that it's great. So it was very difficult to leave. And at that point, I've had some success in real estate and some losses at that point. So, and to be honest, it wasn't like, I was super successful in real estate before I left. It's just I had a plan, I knew it could work, and I just had faith in that plan. So I was, fast forward 2 years after that, it was funny. It was January 1st, 2019. I was at work eating lunch. I was like, you know what? I'm not coming back. I just, in my heart, I was like, hey, let's see if I'm ready. Let's see what I'm made of. Let's see if I can make it on my own. Totally independent is what I call it. When you I feel like you're totally independent because you're not relying on a job or anybody to, navigate your future for you. So that's where it started with that.
And you just kind of jumped out there.
I jumped out and let's say I
Sink or
quit in
swim.
January, and I didn't even find a deal until that April.
Oh wow,
So
really?
that,
So you didn't have like
January,
any deals under
February, and March,
contract?
that means nothing. I had nothing until April. So now, of course, people around you will say, okay, well, you quit your job. What you doing now? What you just sitting around not doing nothing. So
I'm working. You don't see it, but I'm working.
Right. So you have to build a pipeline of deals just because I find a lot of off-market deals. So that's I put in a lot of offers, a lot of no's, this, and that. So it's not just easy to go, oh, this house right there, buy it, flip it, boom. It's not that easy as to make it on TV. It's really not.
Because you have to have the money and the funds to actually do this. So to the people out there that are thinking about getting into real estate investing and they're not really sure how to get started. So how much money would you say like a beginner investor should have in order to start getting into the real estate investing business, whether it be, well, you said wholesaling, you didn't need any money. So when it comes to flips, how much money would you say a first timer needs to have?
You mean to be like full-time in the business, or something you just want to try out? Like
to do your first deal, just like do a deal to flip a house. And what are other means?
Other means? Okay, well, first I can say, okay. You have to decide what kind of investor you want to be. Do I want to be passive? Do I want to be active? And how often do I want to do it?
Can you explain the two for us?
Okay, a passive investor is where, okay, I've got 10, 20, 30, $50,000 and I don't want to spend the time, dealing with contractors or this and that. So how about, okay, I put this money in a deal and you just give me a certain return back.
Mm. That's a
That's a
passive.
that's a passive investor. Or I call that turnkey. Like when the house is already rehabbed and a tenant in place, paying monthly, that's turnkey. Or they can say, hey, I just want to buy a turnkey property. I just buy this property and I collect the rent. So those are passive ways. And active, that means you have to really, put your sleeves up and you have to deal with this on a daily. And I would say, I mean, you can do that with a full-time job. It just be very challenging because while contractors calling you, say, hey, did you want flat paint or satin paint? You can't answer the
Like, I
phone.
don't know, whichever one is the cheapest.
And they pick the wrong paint. So now you just got to deal with the wrong paint. Things like that, you're kind of out of the loop when you're not in it full time. But like I said, you can do that. It would just be more challenging if you still have, a full-time job. But as far as if you're just getting started, I would say an average flip would cost you between, like, out of pocket expenses, I would say between $15,000 to $18,000. And that's I would say on the house between, now we're talking ARV, added repair value, between 150 to 200. So when people say you don't need money in real estate, you do. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be your money. It can be what we call OPM, other people's money. Like, okay, if you find a flip deal and it's going to cost you, $50,000 out of pocket, and you don't have anything. Well, you need to know somebody with something. And if they trust you, if you have if you don't have a track record, then you need a business partner, whatever. But you can raise capital. Like, if you know somebody who has $50,000 laying around, you say, hey, I have this deal. You present the deal, professionally, where it makes sense. And, they put up the capital and you give them a certain return back. Win-win.
Nice. And that's with you not having to use any of your money. You're just using other people's money.
Right.
I hope you guys are taking notes. And yes, Keela says, yes, my mom and I had that conversation about how our generation takes more risk. So true. Because I was scared to dive into real estate full. I'm going to say I was scared because it was just something I decided like a 9 to 5 just wasn't for me because I like to, live my life and just enjoy each day. And I just felt like a 9 to 5 was just stopping me from being great because I want to do so many other things that I can't do while I'm just sitting at the desk all day. So it definitely gives me the freedom. I absolutely love it. So what would you say some of your biggest challenges have been with investing?
That's broad. Like, you mean with the business, personal, or?
We can start with the business and then we'll go into what was kind of like your biggest challenges when it comes to flips. Like, what's the hardest part about that? And what's the hardest part about wholesaling?
Wholesaling, I don't do much wholesaling anymore, but I would say with that part of the business, you have to spend a lot of money in marketing. Like, for instance, if you want to go the direct mail route, okay, the response rate with that is about 1%. So that means 1% of your mailers is going to get a response. So you send out 10,000 mailers, 1% of 10,000, what, 100? I'm not the best at math. I didn't go to college, but let's say, okay, 100 people respond.
Yeah, right. 10,000.
That's 1%, right? 100.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't put me on the spot either. Look, we got a calculator here if we really need to do it. Y'all get what we're saying.
So that means, okay. Of course, that costs money. Send out 10,000 mail pieces. All right. 100 people respond.
Stamps aren't cheap.
Right. 100 people respond. So that means out of those 100 people, you have to figure out, okay, where's the deal? Some people they just calling to waste your time. They want too much money, or this, and that, or it's not a deal. The numbers don't make sense. I would say out of those 100 people, you may go on 50 appointments.
Mm-hmm.
So every appointment that you make, you need to make an offer. Like if you go see a house, it doesn't matter if you feel like they won't accept the offer. You need to make an offer, because if you don't make an offer, you won't get a deal. So I say 50 offers. I mean, maybe 10% of those may get accepted. And out of 10%, you may get one deal that will actually close. So now, okay. And during the meantime, this may be a whole entire quarter. So now, at that point, you need to send out more mailers. So it gets to be an actual, I mean, wholesaler, it starts out small, but if you want to do it full time, it becomes a real deal business. That's what I'm trying to say.
You have to work it as a business. Like just because you're an entrepreneur doesn't mean you can sleep all day. You can take multiple days. I mean, eventually you can when the business really starts growing. But I think that's one of the challenges many entrepreneurs have. They don't really manage time very well.
Right.
So, yeah, and real estate is a numbers game. Like I've even learned that just on the being an agent side of it. It's a numbers game. Like how many people you contact determine how many deals you do.
It's sales. Like whether you're wholesaling or flipping, or you're still negotiating prices, negotiating with sellers. I mean, it's sales. You have to sell yourself. That's why, like I'm always in these shirts branding myself just to look like okay, because you just never know. You have to have a slight edge over your competition. You never know what because if I came to you and I'm just Joe Blow home buyer, and you already met 10 buyers, what's gonna set me apart from somebody else?
Well, he looks professional. He was in his uniform. He was consistent.
Right.
They say like your talent and what will get you in the room, but your professionalism is what's going to make you stay. I had another podcast that kind of expound on that.
Right. I can give you an example. This may have been 2 years ago. I went to go look at a house. I put in my offer. They accepted it, but she told me why she accepted it. She told me that the person that came after me were rude to her grandchildren, this and that. So it's not like, and they offer more than I did. So even with that, it's not all about the highest offer. It's about, you have to get people to like you. You just can't be rude to people and expect a good outcome. So even with that, even just being, a good person can get you a deal over somebody else who just an asshole.
Yeah, so true. Even like if have for instance, when I did have a listing, I had a listing in Hoover, and that listing was so hot. So many offers came in on it, even like first day at the market. And it really boiled down to like we had 2 offers that were nearly like neck and neck the same. Actually, one was like a little bit better, but my seller, she trusts me. She's like, which one do you think? And honestly, I was like, this one, because the agent was so nice. The other person was really rude. They were really pushy, just doing a lot. And I knew like, I'm going to have to work this deal with this person for the next 30, however many days. So do I want to work with, Bitchy Betty, or do I want to work with this pleasant, Pam over here? So we kind of went with pleasant Pam. So.
Right. Yeah, with real estate, it's all about relationships, and even now, it's like I'm not doing much wholesale. I'm doing more flipping and eventually buy and hold. Like, okay, someone has a deal, another wholesaler has a deal. I develop a relationship with them, take them out to lunch. I buy a deal from them, so they say, okay, he bought a deal. It was a fast closing. It was pleasant. So, what do you think they're gonna do when they get another deal? Hey, I got this deal. It's all about relationships.
Yes, it's definitely a relationship business. Someone asks, can you explain hard money lending, or is that the same as OPM?
It's similar. Here's the difference. Like OPM is just somebody like Crispin. Hey, Crispin, I need $50,000 for this deal, and I give you a certain term back. When it's just like a negotiation between two people, written, I definitely recommend it be written. I would call that other people money. And with hard money, it's more structured. It's an actual loan, interest payments, and then they have money set aside in escrow. That's also a part of the main loan. They have money aside in escrow for the rehab. That's the basics of it. Hard money it can be a company, it can also be an individual, but it's more set up like, interest rates are higher, but it's not like going to a bank where okay, you have to qualify for this loan. With hard money, the property qualifies the loan. So a lot of times, if you don't have good credit, you don't have, a ton of cash, hard money is a good route because, they're not concerned about debt income ratio, credit score. They don't really focus on credit score. Like if your credit isn't great, just to be honest, my first deal, my credit was not great, but I was still able to use hard money because like I said, the property qualifies as a loan and not your personal financial statement or your personal assets. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it did. Have you ever used hard money before?
All the time.
For any of your deals?
All the time.
Yeah. I've had people, different investors that have reached out just to work with me and maybe help them get a property listed, what have you. And, they complain about the interest rates being extremely high on hard money loans. That's true.
It's high. But it just is what it is. You can, like, I read a book. It's he who holds the gold makes the terms. They got the money. You need the money. It's less hassle. So you just have to pay for that convenience. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you have a goal set, okay, I want to make this much money on this deal. The money for this deal costs this much. If it still makes sense, you got profit at the end of the day, then go for it.
They asked, how do you find those type of lenders?
Networking events. There's a couple. There's a couple real estate groups here in town. One of them that I attend is REI Live. They meet once a month. I think it's two today. They meet tomorrow actually. I forgot what time, but that's
REI Live. I do the one REI Connect with Jonathan. You should check. Have you been to any of his? You should check them out.
I haven't. I've been because I stopped going to the meetings for a while just because I was so busy and I thought I knew everything, and so I had to humble myself a little bit and start back going to the meetings. just being honest. So
networking is so important, especially in the real estate business.
It is important because I met a guy there. We just looked at a deal today. Put in the offer. Hope they accept the offer. So we partner up on the flip. What's another for hard money? Internet. You can try the Scotsman Guide. Now they have a list of nationwide lenders. So there's a lot. Don't think that it's just locally, but there's nationwide lenders and a ton of them.
Yeah, that answers that. Do you guys have any other questions for Robert? He has been so amazing. He has shared so much.
$3.99 for now.
So tell us, how many deals have you done when it comes to real estate? Like if you just had to guess, if you don't know an exact number.
Since I've been full time, I would say, maybe 12 or 15.
Over that's what, like a 3-year time span?
Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah. About 12 or 15.
So what are some of your goals when it comes to real estate investing?
I would like to just grow this monster as big as I can grow it. And at a certain point, I would like to teach others, early retirement, teach others and be on the island somewhere, sipping margarita.
Enjoying life.
That's right.
Yeah, well, it was so great having you. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the Soul Lux Life audience?
I will say, whether you're an entrepreneur, you got a 9 to 5, like whatever you do, make sure you do it well.
Yes.
Believe in yourself. Create your own path. Don't look at other people's path and say, well, they did this in this a certain amount of time, and why am
Yes.
I here? Why am I here? It's a journey, not a destination.
Yes. 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 So true. I love it. Well, thank you so much. It's been amazing. It's been great.
I
How
enjoyed
can
it.
people how can people connect with you if they want to get in contact with you?
You can catch me on Facebook, Robert Dennis, and I think I got my Instagram handle right there at REI_All-Star. Okay, I don't post as much as I should, but a lot of times I have little tidbits here, different design ideas, and also ask questions. So, hey, if you got a question, when I got time, I will respond, whatever you need.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right.